I'm Dr. Scott Lynn, the Research and Education Director for Swing Catalyst. And joining me for our last presentation is Mr. John Dunigan.
Hello.
John is the Director of Instruction at Applebrook Golf Club in Pennsylvania. Also, I think, has added a lot to what we understand about teaching golf in terms of his knowledge of motor learning science. He's partnered with a really good friend of mine, Dr. Will Wu, in California, and they put together something called the Skilled Coaching Alliance, which pretty much every teacher that I've heard that has gone through it has said it's been one of the most influential training programs that they have ever been through, because it really teaches you how to teach people how to move. And what we know is that teaching somebody how to move is way different than teaching somebody how to do a cognitive task. And there's really good science there that John has done an excellent job of translating for us in a way that we can use it with our golfers. And so we're going to get into some of that now.
Yep.
Let's do it.
So I don't have slides for you or anything. I don't think I will need them. The title of this is People Move the Way They Do, not necessarily the way they can. And we can use Swing Catalyst to help them move better. And it's kind of based in, there's a difference between learning how to remember word lists and learning how to move. So I have a real issue with those two concepts kind of meshing together in a way that it's not the same. Punching a keyboard, remembering word lists,
Or doing math.
just not the same as hitting a golf ball. So what I thought I would do is share some ideas on how we can use a little bit of the science of motor learning to help people move better, even folks who you might not think can do it. Because I do it every day. So if you were going to stand over there and face the computer, if you would. So, for instance, Scott does not like to rotate in his golf swing. Am I right or wrong?
Correct.
Yo, Scotty, face me. Well, I guess he can turn. Right? It may be that he hasn't learned to do that in a golf swing motion, but it doesn't mean he can't turn, and that I don't have to have some responsibility to help him turn. For what purpose?
To hit the golf ball.
I think it's really important that even though we have all this fancy technology, which I love this, I had the single plate, motion plate with the pressure and the force, loved it. As soon as this come out, I was the first person to pay for it. I got the second set though. But I love this, but that's really very much for me, not the student. Right? This is for me to come up with an analysis of the motion that, of course, was influencing the ball and the club delivery. And I think sometimes, if you saw last night, I think we're spending a little bit too much time on long drive. Because as far as I know, the folks at your golf clubs just want to find the face. And if they find the face of the club, the next step would be to find the golf course with it. So this is not used just to amplify speed. We can use this sucker to change the motion to improve the club delivery. Now, I'm going to say this, and it's going to sound awful, but I'm going to say it anyway. You might be doing this the hard way. There's an easier way to cue somebody to move differently. It has to do with the focus of attention research that I hope you guys will all join the SEA and learn about, because we have made some sense out of some of the nonsense that you may have heard in the world of golf instruction that is a complete misinterpretation of the actual science. Well, internal focus attention is, hey, Scotty, I want you to externally rotate your trail shoulder just because that's hot. Okay, now that's a direct body internal focus of attention cue. Got that? We good with that?
Mm-hmm.
Now, who doesn't like pizza? I mean, this is from the old days of golf instruction. Can you hold that right there? Can you hold that up? Now, that is the exact same thing, but external. He's just holding up the pizza tray here. That makes sense? Now, you may say, Dunigan, what is the difference in those two? Well, should we tell them?
Yes.
Okay. The difference in those two is when you reference a body part. Hey, you got to externally rotate that trail shoulder. Your brain system is going to deliver that motion, but there's something called muscle co-contraction. The muscles around the joint will contract at the same time. You'll get the motion, you'll increase tension, lower the efficiency of the movement, but also lose coordination. Now, I don't know about you, but I think coordination may be important for playing golf. And I don't know about you, but some of my people ain't that coordinated to begin with. So if I get in there and start telling them body part stuff, I like it, and Dr. Will does not like when I say this, but I do. It's like this. Okay, externally rotate your trail arm, and your brain is going, I have an arm? Your brain just does this. I'm not sure your brain knows it's an arm. Your brain just goes here. Does that make any sense at all? It's a total difference. And this movement will be acquired very quickly. You'll see a change when you create the correct external focus of attention cue. Wait a second. Turn the mic up. When you use the correct cue for the student, you'll see an improved movement in 1 to 2 swings. I do it all the time. All the time. And it's not that hard, but sometimes it does get hard. That came out wrong. So sometimes a great golfer like Scott might come in and we've got the right cue for trying to push against this club shaft early in the transition, but then he can't do it. We know it's the right thing to get the club shaft back out. We know that. Okay? We know that to get to be a more consistent driver. I promise him it's going to be a more consistent drive. He can't do it. Well, then I only have 2 more options. Do we just throw it out? When your student can't do something, you just go, okay, it's the wrong thing. You give up on them that quick? Well, you have to simplify the task. How do you simplify the task? Well, you'll see a lot of golf swings where we take 1/2 motion, right? And that gives me this beautifully gorgeous impact, right? So the person's having trouble from the top of the backswing, they're flipping the crap out of it, hitting behind it, pulling shots high, left, short, occasional shank. So we give them a half swing drill. That's good for a minute. What's the problem with that? I've shortened the swing, which is one of our options, but the problem is not getting from here to here. In fact, I'll tell you, in that space, it's real hard to flip it from that short of a swing. So it looks good, and you can give them the video and the before and after, go, look at this learning that's going on, which is another place we might have to talk about. All right, there's no learning during the lesson. I apologize. Learning takes time. You might get some sort of confirmation of what the cue is working, but don't mislead yourself and the student. Nothing is being learned during a golf lesson except, ooh, I better keep working on this because if I learn this, right, that's about as far as an in the lesson improvements goes. So the only other option to simplify the motion that I can think of is to slow the swing down. We might go down from 110 miles an hour all the way down to about 80, 90, and see it happen. I'm gonna tell you a story. A million years ago, I was actually playing mini tour golf, didn't have any of this. And I was hitting 1,000 balls a day, doing all my stuff. I was working so hard, and I was working with Mike Bender, who I just love. And I go in for my golf lesson. He goes, do this. I go off, and I try to figure out how to do it. That was a hint. I went off to figure out how to do it. That's a hint for you. That's an important hint. So I come back, my next lesson, and he says this. Now imagine you're working literally sun up to sundown. He goes, this is no better. That was like the dagger to the heart. And I go back and I still don't know how to work on it. That's another hint, in case you're wondering. I finally, at the last ball of my day, I slowed it down and I saw the difference. Now, to me, that's wicked fun. So I'm like, oh my God, I did it. And I trust my man enough to go, if I do this, I'm better. So then I go work on it, and I started at that slow speed and I built it back up. It's called task simplification. I forgot I had to throw out the words that I can't spell. So I simplified the task by slowing it down. I couldn't shorten it because the problem was a full swing, not a half swing. Make sense? Then guess what happened? 3 weeks later, during the next 3 weeks, I used something called progression. Another one of those motor learning words. I progressed a little bit up at a time to higher rate of speed, right? Higher speed. Then 3 weeks later, on my next lesson, I go like this. Yo, watch this. And he just sat back and was, oh my God, you have it. It took 3 weeks for a major shift in a golf swing. It took only 3 weeks, right? And I actually kept that for years after that. Like what you're doing, that's how you hit it. And I hit it like that all the time. So that's the beauty of using, external cues, which he did one really good thing with me. Tried to hit the fence behind me. I tried to widen out my arc. I was super narrow. And then using task simplification so that I could actually do it. And in that case, when you're using task simplification, you've slowed it down. I just did this with a kid who, in his class, is number 1 in the country. Okay? From Pennsylvania. That's impossible. And we're making a swing change. And all my other students are like, you're changing his golf swing. I go, yeah. He's trying to be the best he can humanly be. And we have a little problem with the driver. So we made a little hand path adjustment, which is actually the grip of the club. We didn't talk about hand path. We talked about move the grip a little more this way, right? And in about 4 weeks, his first tournament was the best driving he's had for the year. And the cool thing about that, dude, is we use the same progression technique at slow speed because it's a driver. We're working only on the driver, right? By the way, he gained 155 shots, still +7 strokes gained in TrackMan. So he doesn't suck at golf, just so you know. Well, we use the same progression technique in his lessons. His next lesson, which was 2 weeks after, it was better. The next week after, it didn't matter what I threw at him. 3-wood off the turf, any club, I couldn't break it. Now, does that mean it was automatic by then? Does that mean the best swing thought is no swing thought at all? Are we going to fall for the line, the best swing thought is no swing thought? Are you going to fall for that? I don't know how you do that. That might be one of the weeks when you got butterflies coming out of your butt and it's just on autopilot. Now, those are rare, but also a feel is not necessarily a swing thought. I meant to ask that last night. Is a feel a swing thought? I don't think they are. I think the reason swing thoughts get such a bad rap goes back to what I said the first minute. We have our swing thoughts burned in internal focus of attention cues. Get your elbow here. Does that make sense? Instead of external, which is super easier, ginormously less cognitive load.
I think some people struggle with coming up with these. So let's play a little game here. Somebody give us an internal something you've told your student in the past. Tell me something you told your student in the past. A drill, a swing thought. Yeah. Okay. So don't let your knee go out. Keep your knee in. Give us an external cue for that.
Okay. So I'm trying to avoid the knee swaying to the backside, right? Okay. Ready for the start? Hey, don't do that. You're doing this, don't do it. 1. That can work. I've seen it work a million times.
Yeah.
Number 2. Who's the greatest golf teacher that ever lived?
Goldilocks.
It's Goldilocks, baby. Show me the opposite. Move it the other way, right? Now, however, what I'll usually do is I will step into, can I grab your hiney?
Yeah, of
Up
course.
in here. Here, we'll face this way.
Oh,
All right. In this case, I might use the resistance band, which I love using these things. Little hug. By the way, Scott's going to be a father in 2 months.
3 months.
It's almost February.
Oh yeah, I guess so.
All right. Let's go down a little bit lower on the knee. Okay. All right. You ready for this? This is very important. I need you to pay attention to this. Okay. Now, I'm going to resist his ability to move the knee the way that we don't want it to move. Okay? Ready, Scott?
Mm-hmm.
Go ahead. Start your backswing. Right there. Okay, do you feel that?
I do.
Okay, what do you feel? Don't even ask that question. Don't even ask the question what you feel. How are you going to put feel into words? Don't even ask it. Just, feel that. Good enough. All right,
Okay.
one more time. Ready for this?
Yep.
All right, go ahead. All right. So in this case, I am resisting. I am resisting that knee moving. Who's doing the work? I'm doing the work. And we have a saying in the Skilled Coaching Alliance, whoever does the work does the learning. Now watch this super subtle, it's almost stupid, but it ain't, difference.
Do you want me to get it?
Round the knee, yep. Okay. Now,
Do you want it on this knee or this knee?
I'm going to start on this knee.
Okay.
Because guess what? The external focus cue might not work. Right? It doesn't mean it's wrong. It means you picked the wrong one. And you'll know in about 3 attempts where you're going is right for the golfer.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm going to start with this one. All right, start in the backswing. Now I'm pulling them into the flow.
Oh.
Now, listen, I love you. I don't want to hug you right now. And by the way, we have a ball in my golf lessons, just so you know. Watch my Instagram with that one kid who's #1 in the country. You got to watch that because he's cracking up and we're having a serious golf lesson.
Yep.
Are you ready?
Yep.
Again. Ooh. Did you feel something different?
Way different.
Cool. Try to feel that again. And by the way, in California code, I'm reefing on this thing. In Pennsylvania, I'm pulling it hard. Okay? All right. So now, we go like this. Just let it there. You don't have to get it out of the way. All right. Now, can you go ahead and feel that as you take a backswing? Right. Cool. All right. It didn't work. I don't like it. Okay, it did work, but I didn't like it. I'm going to go like this. Okay. Give me right foot only in there. Okay, by the way, don't stand here if he's got a club. Okay. Ready?
Yep.
Same thing. Oh. Right? I've been working out, you see.
I know.
Ready?
Yep.
Go. Right. Okay, so that is how we would change that motion. Right? And then what would we do? We would get that golf club in the way again and the golf ball in the way because I don't believe in dry practice swings. How come? What's the term? No, you're supposed to know this. Task specificity. The problem with golf is whatever you're doing, you have to get on the damn golf ball. Now, I could simplify the task again by slowing it down, or like I like to say, sometimes if you want to get good at golf, you're going to need bigger balls. I have oversized golf balls, right? That way I made the task of finding the ball much simpler by using a larger golf ball. And it works, right? And that gets a little bit over the fact of I didn't hit it good, right? So how often have you been in the middle of a golf lesson and the student didn't hit it well and is not happy with it? Now, I just had lunch, but you're about to get it.
Uh-oh.
Right, here you go. Watch this.
All right.
This is when you go like this. Look at me. Look at me. Hey,
Hey,
what are we working on out here?
getting better.
What are we trying to get better?
Golf.
No.
Oh,
We're trying to move a little different first.
okay.
Okay? Because what happens, they lose their mind. So we have to continually bring their attention back to what we're trying to do. and then smush it toward a ball, any size ball, and smush it later toward a ball and a target. And if you lay the heavy stuff on them immediately, well, they're going to lay it on themselves where they want it all at once. And then you go, you ain't that smart, right? Because they're not. They don't realize that, but nobody can handle that much attentional load, cognitive load, and do multitasking at the same time. So you just, hey, this is a movement situation. And I might even go to a student after the lesson, okay, look, what I want you to do is, even if you're playing golf, even if you're hitting balls, I want you to, whatever that feel was, I want you to work it, okay? Now, how is he gonna determine if he's doing it correctly? Video. When you're doing a movement correction, use video. Oh, Swing Catalyst has video too, right? And we could see, can you put it on live for me, please? Can you stand face everybody?
Yep.
Okay, so normal stance, but on both plates, please. Okay, now we're gonna let the knee rock out. I want you to watch. This is his outside of his right shoe, okay? All right, let the knee do the wrong thing. And by the way, when that happens, we have 0.2 seconds. He's gotta put that foot back flat, roll it over, and then do all the rest of the stuff. The ball's gone, right? So I do, and by the way, shameless plug for Swing Catalyst, those heat maps are a very big deal to me because the force plates don't show that. Only the heat maps show that foot rolling over, and that is a huge, don't you have the patent on it, TC? So you know where to go. But I have the video so we can confirm whether his feel needs to be intensified more. What do you call that, intensifying the feel?
Intensifying the reactive neuromuscular training.
Right. That's what, so I would call that, because I'm not a PhD or this PH dummy, right? But intensifying the feel, that's what the chord, the band did. It made the feel double, you know? It made the feel even more extreme because exaggeration, we heard it at the summit, exaggeration is one of your best buddies. We would do it too much. We would do it way too much. We would do it normal, and we would do it normal plus a little toward too much and find our way. And then we'd have the video feedback. But then guess what should happen if he stops rolling over his foot and making his knee sway away from the target? I did that first, and it could. Say again? No. Oh, yes. Yeah, I did the front leg first, and I did it. And remember, I did it in the reverse direction too. I did it in the way where I was doing all the work, and then we changed it to where Scott was doing all the work. So if we wanted Scott to be turning better, if we discovered that, you know what, Scott's got a lot of shift, right? But it takes his body into such a location that he hits fat shots because he gets this right side. I'm not going to call this right side bend. This is more like tilting away from the target. Right side bend, I would call this. That's beautiful. Right side bend when you're going away from the target, that is no bueno. Driver finally, but otherwise, not that good. Ooh, look at that. We have force vectors.
Yeah. So I think before you move on, I think using the pressure as an external cue can be very good.
Oh, yeah.
I do this often. Hop on there.
Yep.
If he has a problem of rolling to the outside of the foot, I'm like, make it red right here. No, over here. There you go. Now make it red right here. Okay, now light up the whole foot. Okay, now in your backswing, I want you to make it red right here. So did I talk about his foot? If I said make it red right there. So now we can use pressure. And you see a lot of facilities have the TV where he can stay in posture and see that. I use that for balance a lot. Set up like you see a lot of people set up and you can see he's set up pretty balanced. Do what a lot of amateurs do. Go like way back in your heels. Yeah, so you see he's set up a lot into his heels here. And so I would say now rock to your toes. Make it red up here. Make it red down here. And now balance those two things out. and find the middle. So we just did a little Goldilocks game with the external cue of the force plate or of the pressure plate. So using it in that manner can be very useful. All right,
Huge.
back
And
to rotating.
Not only that, okay, I'll get away, but with that's down here facing the golfer, they don't have to change their attitude, their posture to look at it. So the feel is similar, and that they'll feel that. The thing I love about the forces at the handle and at the feet is I think is this correct? Because you're touching something else, you can feel it way, way better. You agree with that?
I agree. Yes, for
Okay.
sure.
All right. So now we want to get our guy to rotate. I could use the same idea to help him rotate, but I'm going to give you a bunch of different rotation ideas. Okay? So I could start with this. Hop on there.
All right.
So Scott tends to have too much slide toward the target and he hits hooks. Yes?
Yes.
All right. So what I might say is, can you put this in your front belt loops? He's not going to put it in his front belt loops.
I don't have belt loops, but we'll
Right.
put it here.
Okay, put it right there. And I can say, now listen, I still want you to get a little bit of shoe. See that shoe light up?
Yeah.
Just give me a little bit of that,
Okay.
right? Now again, this would be down here. All right, so get on that shoe and then hit my hand with that grip.
Get on this shoe.
Yep. Right to me. Good. Right, all in one node, not two pieces.
Okay.
Yeah. So by the way, I am not doing that piece stuff because it just ceased to be golf. I'm not going to do it in 1, 2.
Mm-hmm.
That's just ungolf like. You got to keep it golf like, right? So now what I have a plastic pole back here, right? And I have the belt loop, a stick, alignment stick pointing out of the front belt loops. Don't let any out of this belt loop. They're going to get hurt. And I just go, okay, listen. I'm going to give them a cue and a timing, right? I want to hear this stick hit the other stick behind you before you hit the ball, right? So take a little backswing back, get there, right? And now I've got rotation, and I would call that one of the simplest ways to create better rotation. By the way, oh yeah, there's a stick back here. So if we were really doing it, oh, here's the club. So it's set up just like this. And depending upon what I want to see, I think for him, because he's so strong and beautiful, I'm going to put it right behind his left cheek. Ready? Come get me. Good. I might even do this. You didn't see that.
No.
I'll move it on people. And then you're seeing a guy who doesn't like to rotate. Right? So then I have to go back to, well, is it that you can't rotate or you don't know how yet? Right? That's why we can't just do what. You have to do the why and the how. What was the why? Well, we're hitting, you want to hit a fade.
Mm-hmm.
And we're hitting his miss is a hook. I know about a house.
Or a
And
block.
a golf course
Yeah.
in California.
That was Will. That wasn't me.
Well, that move will guaranteed straighten the club path, right? That'll take the difference between the face and path and shrink it down. We got it made. And by the way, just so that we know, if this is the target line and this is the club path, if you can keep your club face in between the path and the target line, you're going to be a damn good golfer. I promise you that. That damn good. But if it's too much path and you have too much curve, then you have to do something. Now, certainly, if I can't get you to rotate, guess what I'm going to do?
What?
Open your stance. Duh. Right? That'll take care of it. That will take away some of that path. Better make a grip adjustment, right? Or we might start getting a pole draw, which is
No
fun.
bueno.
Oh my gosh, that's so bad. Okay, now, but we have more rotators, right? Okay, can you take your setup? Now, I think somebody said this earlier today. It might have been Joe Plecker, who's a wonderful man. So one of the things, does anybody have a water bottle I can steal?
Right here.
Oh, I got it. Thank you. All right. Oh, you were saying this, right? To get this water bottle off, I have to rotate it. Well, what's happening is opposing forces. My thumb, that's what they say in England or Ireland, my thumb's going that way while my index finger's going this way. I could do it this way. It's gonna be a long day though, okay? So I'm gonna teach Scott how to do part of this, right? I'm gonna cue it in 2 different ways, and we're gonna see what shakes out. Okay? Thank you. Okay, so boss, do me a favor. This is my favorite one of these. Can you get up on your tippy toe a little bit on the front shoe? So we're gonna take a back, let's go on the backswing again.
Okay.
Now, feel that toe? Good. So I want you to press that part of your shoe into this. Yeah, good. Now what I want you to do is this. Now you can pick it back up again. All right, I want you to do this for me. Yep. He just ripped the carpet off of the plate. Did you see that? Can you do that again?
Yep.
Right there. Now, what I want you to do is I want you to do that and then say hi to me. Ready? Backswing, do it.
Whew.
Right? That's a lot of rotation, isn't it?
Yeah.
So that is one of my favorite ways because I have this feeling that force, that's our technology, is more important than this one, possibly. But that's my theory. I'm not a PhD, but I did stay at Holiday Express. Okay, so that's a cool one for rotation. But some people, like Paul, you would love that, right? That would be right up your alley, okay? But he is more right leg dominant. Okay, that doesn't mean, in fact, I think I'm going to get rid of that phrase. I'm going to say he's stronger on his right leg than his left leg.
Sure.
But I think dominant leads us down the path toward right foot, right foot, right foot. Okay, so do me a favor. Get set again. Now, you are the bull.
The bull.
The bull. This way. Pull it this way. Now, for some people, that is wicked hard to do. That's the bull, right? The bull stops here.
Gotcha.
I'm a very serious.
Can you do that
golf
again
teacher.
for me?
Yeah.
Perfect.
Hey, folks, don't take yourself too seriously. Life is really short. Okay,
right.
Now, when you take a backswing,
Yep.
I want you to pull it off the other, that way.
Whew.
Yeah.
And you notice where I fell the first time he gave me that cue? You notice where I fell that time?
So what? Take it further, boss.
Because when our feet push in opposite directions, if I push more out of my right than my left, that net force is actually pushing me towards the golf ball. So far, we've been measuring a lot of good people on these dual plates, and generally we find 2/3 shear force out of the front and 1/3 out of the trail, which creates a net force that gets that pelvis moving back. My theory is you could play golf only on your left leg pretty well. If Tiger had mangled his left leg, I don't think he would have come back and played again. Since he mangled his right leg, he could still play. Your lead leg is really important in golf. Trail leg, depends.
I would 100% agree with that.
Yeah.
No doubt. As I can still play. This knee is all torn up, and this PGA show ain't doing me any good. But, yeah, I can still hit a golf ball off my front post. But I'll use my trail post, too.
Yeah, me
when
too.
I get back. Yeah. Okay, so more rotation, right? More rotation. So we have rotation. I'm trying to get him to rotate. We're going to use a little RNT. This is my favorite. Do not do this at home.
Okay.
I get full permission. I have a mitt that I got from the Godfather, Michael Adams, right? So it's less invasive. All right. I'm going to call this back pocket back, okay? Move this here for me. The damn boy don't have no pockets. Right. Imagine you had your pocket right here. All right. Push that back pocket into my hand. Yeah, on the way down, right? Go. Right. Go. Right. Oh, my goodness. He looks like a long driver. And he's rotating beautifully.
One more time.
Okay. All right, you ready? So don't press yet. Now put it on. Push. Yeah, look at that rotation.
Look at that club or swing direction.
Now,
thing go?
obviously, if you have a person who's slicing, probably not a great idea. Because when you rotate, that moves the path more left. When you don't rotate and slide more, it moves the path more right. When you rotate, it does help move the low point forward. When you shift, it does help move the low point forward too. So how many of these motions that we think people can't do are because their brain's trying to solve a problem of something that came way before it? That's why you got to ask them. So if it was a real lesson, I go like this. What you doing? Right? What are you thinking? What are you trying to do? During the swing, what are you paying attention to? Well, I'm just trying not to think. I'm like, oh God, here we go. Right? Are you trying to use the golf club to hit the ball somewhere? And again, these are all things that are body motion changes, right? That change the forces. The forces help me create the right cue. The right cue helps me create the right motion. The right motion helps the club delivery, which is what we're after. I think it's really important that we keep that in mind. It's about the club ball interaction more than anything else. Okay, now we got one more for rotation, which is very similar, but this gets ugly. This is no good at all. Hi, EA. Can you tell I'm stiff? All right, hop in the left foot. Okay, so now I'll go this way. All right, just do me a favor. No backswing.
No backswing.
Just, can you stretch this band backward? Good, do again. Good. I just bought 5 different resistance ones of these. You're in trouble when you come to PA.
Oh, good.
Good. You feel it?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Now use that feel and make a swing and don't let go, because Michael is a very nice man. Use that feel. Right? That's a guy who can't turn. Woo. Right? That's a guy who can't turn. Bullshit. Right? Just might not know how. Right? So that is some turning stuff. Right? Do we do what else do we have to do? That's it.
Yeah.
Is anything, are there, I guess, shift stuff, same thing. Yeah. So now you have a way to begin changing people's movement pattern for club delivery. Like, for instance, going back to the pressure one. Are we live on pressure?
Yep.
So, hey, on the backswing, dear lad, you can hold your golf club and come this way a little more. Yeah. All right. So now, golf posture.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So if he's looking at my TV that's right down by his feet, okay, I want you to light this up red on the right heel. Now I want you to light it up red on your left shoe, left side.
On the backswing?
So heel.
Heel?
Now get on that toe, right? And again, I'm cueing. I'm saying this is not in front of him. I'm changing his pelvis motion with a simple cue of turn this part red, turn this part red, right? So what do you feel that when you do that, heel red, toe red, what do you feel the club doing?
Drop it inside.
Drop it inside. If you kept going, go ahead, let it go through. Yeah, that club's going way out that way, right? Now I might go, this doesn't work as well. I'm not gonna lie, this doesn't work as well. But if I said, okay, give me toe heel, and again, the red spot. I'm not saying toes, but he can't see it, right? Now, toe heel. Do you see the difference in the motion? Like, this is like radical difference in motion in one cue. This is the power of external cues, and this is why we preach, keep it external. Stop doing it the hard way. It's much easier. And that, by the way, just because he's a world-class athlete and physical specimen, he's about to get dad bod. Right?
It's coming.
It works. It works. It works. Hey, we'll end with this.
Okay.
If it's not working, what do you have to ask? Intention is 9/10 of all we say. Are you actually intent on doing it? And you'll see, I think it happened the other day somewhere where the guy forgot. He was, I forgot on that one. Well, okay, then it didn't not work. You're dumb. Can you concentrate for 2 whole seconds, for goodness sakes? I'm asking for 2 seconds of concentration. But that's why we have to keep them focused. Their attention has to be focused on the intention, right? And you have to go in order, because if they try to mix the messages too soon, then you'll lose the attention. Then we'll never know. So they have to test the hypothesis. We hypothesize if you stretch this band in this fashion, that low point's going to move forward, the path's going to straighten out. If you don't test it, and they get that. They get that. I think it does help to set expectations. And I think it does help a lot to tell them what learning looks like. By the way, I want you guys to steal this one. All of them. Steal them all. Give Scott the credit. You're going to need the money. College is coming soon. I forgot what I was saying. Ask parents for videos of when their child learned to walk. Then you go make the kid watch it with you and go, that's what learning looks like. Hey, Mom, that's what learning looks like. Hey, Scotty, see? This is what you did. But when you were learning how to walk, your rage to walk outweighed your frustration. I remember my daughter getting so frustrated, but she was so hell-bent on walking that she kept falling down until she stopped falling down. Anything to follow?
No, that's fantastic. Any questions?
SkilledCoachingAlliance.com. We will help you do better faster. I promise.
Questions? Yeah.
Oh. Well, all right. So the question is, the person is over rotating and maybe the path is too left. Okay? Okay, fine. Same thing. Opposite.
Opposite.
Same thing, opposite. The first thing I might do in that case was, oh, your club's going this way, make it go that way. Spin the ball, right? Brush that golf ball's hiney, right? I get out my ping pong. Well, I use a small tennis racket. I get that out. Hey, can you make the club go that way? Then what happens is they're still spinning out. They can't do it. Okay, fine. Then we might go in and go, hey, can I have your stick? I might go use the reactive neuromuscular training or proprioceptive priming. Mm-hmm. I might go this way and go, hey, can you keep that stick pointed out that way longer? Right? Stupid stuff. Right? I might pull him this way so she has to resist. Make sense? And just think about how can you do the opposite of what you want. Right? So you're trying to pull them in the direction of the error, so they have to work like hell to solve the problem. And then that sticks with them longer. And don't forget the Goldilocks. Go way too far toward the good one, but don't go way too far toward the bad one. You could go 150% of good, but maybe only go to 95% of bad at first. Make sense?
Makes a lot of sense.
Always first. That's what we said. Always. What in the world are you doing, boy? What are you paying attention to? That's so important to go. And then you'll find when you ask people that kind of stuff, you'll find that some of them are completely blanked out. I told Charles Barkley, well, I can't help you. God can't help you. You're not even here. Right? I fixed it the first time 25 years ago or more. But anyways, think about that. Go try to force them to have to resist the wrong motion so they fire those neurons that make it move in a better direction.
Yeah, and I think, like you said, falling down is the greatest thing for a little kid to learn how to move, because they said, oh, I did that wrong. Yeah. Let me figure out how to fix it. And like for your cue, when you get to the other side of the foot, I might not even realize I'm doing that until I pull you this way and I knock you over. You're like, ooh, that was bad. Right. How do I stop that from happening? Yeah. Oh, that's how I stop it. And so this allows you to cause them to fail, and then that triggers their brain to how to figure out how to do the opposite. So awesome.
We are problem solvers as humans, right? And our brain is trying. By the way, read the book Incognito, David Eagleman. Read it, because he just scared the crap out of me. He gave an analogy of the iceberg. 10% is out of the water, 90% below the surface. 10% we call the conscious. 90% below the surface. Now, fine. We give the conscious all the credit because we all think we're smart, but we're not. This is the scary part. The motor skill region is below the surface enough that the conscious doesn't have access to all the stuff going on there. That should scare the hell out of you as a golf teacher. Therefore, the cues that we use, I'm always trying to go, can I get that person's brain to want to solve the problem for me by constraining the motion in a certain way? All right, I got to go get on a plane. Thank you.
Thank
Hope
you,
to see
John.
you soon, boss.